Hello, welcome friend. Welcome to our channel Quality Group friend. Today our topic is process validation and overview in the pharmaceutical industry. Process validation in pharma is a documented process to provide scientific evidence that a manufacturing process consistently produces a product meeting predefined quality attribute and specification. Process validation involves establishing, verifying, and monitoring the process from its design through commercial production to ensure product safety, efficacy, and quality. Key stages include in the process validations are process design, process performance qualification, and continuous process verification, all supported by through documentation, risk management, and adherence to good manufacturing practices. Process validation in pharma originated in the mid 1970s due to the problem with the sterility of large volume parenteral product, leading to the US FDA first defining and implementing the concept through its current good manufacturing practices to ensure consistent production of high quality drug. The 1987 FDA guidance on process validation established the principle that quality must be built into the product, not just tested into it, and outline a life cycle approach that emphasizes providing documented evidence of a process consistently ability to meet predefined specification. Origin and history. James Agoloko. He has stated that the origin of validation in our industry can be traced to terminal sterilization process failure in the early 1970s. One case was the 1971 Davenport incident in which a batch of 5% dextrose intravenous bottle that were not correctly sterilized reached the market and were administered to the patient. Sadly, 5 patients at a Davenport, England hospital died after receiving the contaminated solution. Such tragedy refocused everyone in the industry on the fundamental importance of the safety of our drug manufacturing process. The first UK Orange Guide, titled Guide to Good Pharmaceutical Manufacturing Practices, was published in 1971. The edition released in 1983 included wording on validation. Today, the UK Orange Guide cover EU GMP rather than British GMP. Such international efforts have encouraged the standardization of regulation. In the US, the GMP for drug 21 CFR Part 210 and 211 medical devices 21 CFR Part 820 were first published in 1978, and like the Orange Guide included validation as a central term in 1983. At the Parenteral Drug Association annual meeting in 1980s, Ed Fry of the US FDA gave a title, What We See That Make Us Nervous, in which he expressed the need to improve pharmaceutical manufacturing processes. The FDA recognized that processes were not robust, and throughout the 1980s, the regulator considered how to make companies more effectively validate their processes and published a series of seminal guidance documents such as the 1983 Guide to Inspection of Computerized Systems in Drug Processing. The FDA discussion including concept of scientific understanding based on process development. Despite these discussions, when the FDA published guidance for industry process validation general principle and practices in 1987, the guideline did not mention the design of the process. Origin and history. Origin and early history. Terminal sterilization failure. Early 1970. The concept of validation can be traced to failure in terminal sterilization processes, particularly with large volume parenteral product, which resulted in the outbreak of septicemia in early 1970s. FDA response mid 1970s. In response to these events, two FDA officials, Ted Bayer and Bud Lotus, proposed the concept of validation to improve pharmaceutical product quality. CGMP introduction. The FDA incorporated validation into its current good manufacturing practices, that is CGMP regulation. However, a formal definition of process validation did not appear in FDA literature until 1978. Evolution of process validation. 1987 guidance. The first significant FDA guidance on process validation was issued in 1987. This guidance defined process validation as establishing documented evidence which provide a high degree of assurance that a specific process will consistently produce a product meeting its predefined specification and quality characteristics. It introduced the revolutionary concept that quality must be built into the product, leading to a shift from solely testing finished products to designing and controlling the manufacturing process. Life cycle approach. The concept evolved to incorporate a life cycle approach to process validation, encouraging manufacturers to design, control, and continuously monitor processes to ensure quality over the entire product life cycle. Modern practices. Current guidelines encourage the use of quality risk management, modern pharmaceutical development concept, the quality system in the manufacturing life cycle to simplify validation while maintaining product quality. Key principles. Documented evidence. Validation required documented evidence that demonstrated a process consistently produces a product meeting its predefined specification and quality attribute. Building quality in. The focus is on building quality into the product and process from the outset rather than relying solely on testing to ensure quality, control, and consistency. Validation confirms that processes are under control and consistently produce a high quality product. Effective process validation contributes significantly to assuring drug quality. The basic principle of quality assurance is that a drug should be produced that is fit for its intended use. This principle incorporates the understanding that the following conditions exist: quality, safety, and efficacy are designed or built into the product. Quality cannot be adequately assured merely by in-process and finished product inspection or testing. Purpose of process validation: ensure consistent quality, guarantee that a process consistently produces product within the intended quality, build quality in, shift focus from end product testing to ensuring quality is inherent in the product design, ensure safety and efficacy, provide assurance that the final product is safe and effective for its intended use. Regulatory compliance: fulfill requirements set by regulatory bodies like the FDA to ensure high standard for drug manufacturing. Key stages of process validation. Process validation involves a series of activities taking place over the life cycle of product and processes. This guidance describes process validation activity in three stages. Stage 1: process design. The commercial manufacturing process is defined during the stage based on knowledge gained through development and scale up activity. Stage 2: process qualification. During this stage, process design is evaluated to determine if the process is capable of reproducible commercial manufacturing. Stage 3: continuous process verification. Ongoing assurance is gained during routine production that the process remains in a state of control. A successful validation program depends upon information and knowledge from product and process development. This knowledge and understanding is the basis for establishing an approach to control of manufacturing process that result in product with the desired quality attribute. Manufacturers should understand the source of variation, detect the presence and degree of variation, understand the impact of variation on the process and ultimately on product attribute, control the variation in a manner commensurate with the risk it represents to the process and product. Each manufacturer should judge whether it has gained sufficient understanding to provide a high degree of assurance in its manufacturing process to justify commercial distribution of the product. Prerequisite of process validation: foundation and documentation, approved master formulation and process. A finalized and approved master formulation and manufacturing process are necessary. Standard operating procedure (SOP). Applicable and approved SOP must be in place for all relevant operations. Validation master plan (VMP). A comprehensive plan outlining the overall strategy for validating all elements of the manufacturing process is essential. Validation protocol. A detailed protocol must be prepared, reviewed, and approved to define the validation requirement. Equipment and facility. Qualified equipment. All equipment, facility, utility, and computerized system must be installed, that is IQ, operationally qualified, that is OQ, and potentially performance qualified, that is PQ. Calibrated instrument. Critical instrument and equipment must be calibrated according to a regular schedule. Qualified facility and utility. The introduction of new or significantly different manufacturing equipment or changes to support systems like water, air, and steam. Facility and location. Transferring a process to a different manufacturing site or outsourcing production to another company. Quality indicator trend. Repeated or unexplained batch failure, negative trend in quality data, or process capability issues. Regulatory changes. Update or regulatory requirement to a standard that necessitated process adjustment. Key criteria for revalidation. Risk assessment. The process of revalidation starts with a risk assessment to determine the potential impact of the changes on product quality and safety. Potential quality impact. A thorough evaluation of how the change could affect the safety, quality, and the efficacy of final product. Demonstrated control. After the change, the process must be demonstrated to be in a state of control, consistent, and established validation protocol. Ongoing monitoring. Continuous process verification, that is CPV, is a part of validation lifecycle, providing ongoing monitoring to ensure sustained control and detect drift or variability which may trigger revalidation. Thanks a lot, and keep watching our channel. Like, comment, and subscribe more and more. Thank you.